Okay, so you're ready to start on week 2 labs. Here's week 2 lab overview. This is where we'll start. And it's telling us what we're going to do for the lab. Section 1 is on Wireshark. Section 2 is performing switch startup and initial configuration. Now, save this. This will go into your course project. If you don't know how to make screenshots or take a snap, they're going to be pasted into the lab report. There's instructions here if needed. And we'll now go download the lab report template and instructions from files. For part 1, there's a video to help with Wireshark. I'm not going to play it in my video, so if you want to watch it, you can come back and watch that one. And then we'll walk through startup and initial config for a switch. Okay, so I'm going to go to Files, and I'm going to download the documents. Week 2, we have lab instructions. And lab report template. This is what we'll submit for grading. Okay, so now I'm back on my instructions page, and it says watch the video on the iLab page about Wireshark and answer the questions below. Okay, so I'm not going to do this part. We are going to go look at where to get the Wireshark video. If you ever find links that aren't current for some reason, this is one I'm pretty sure you will find, but let's say Docs page has changed. Maybe they changed it to Documents. Who knows? And this page doesn't come up. Just go to the original page and then look for something similar to Docs. They may have changed it to a whole section on documentation. It's really kind of hard to say what exactly is there now without going to look at it. So go look at it and tell me what you're finding now on the latest releases and all the good stuff about Wireshark. Okay, so let's go back and look at least the first part where we need to find the video. No, I'm sorry, it is on the lab overview tab. And you come down just over halfway, well, I guess a good bit over halfway, more towards the bottom, and you'll see the Wireshark introduction video. Okay, so go watch that and come back and we will look at the second part of the lab. Or I guess this is section 2 is look at the documents. And then section 3, download Wireshark and supporting documents. You're going to need this for the week 3 lab. And since this is my template, it says I need to go back to my instructions. I do that a lot. All right, and here's the information on downloading. And there actually is some tips for Wireshark, but they're in the week 3 iLab reference section. download the user guide for the version that you downloaded of Wireshark. If you're having trouble downloading Wireshark, feel free to reach out to our IT help desk. And I was going to show you here how to make sure you know how to get to the help desk. Come to the little circle with the question mark and then go to technical support. Give it a second, it logs you in. And then you can use either the 877 number down here 24/7, create a ticket, or a chat. Okay, so if you're having trouble with that, give them a call. If they can't help you out, then please let me know. Okay, so after we get it installed, we download the user guide and tell a little bit about what we did and get ready for the next part of the lab. Okay, so in this part of the lab, we're actually going to be looking at a router and setting up its basic configuration. So you'll come back here and paste several screenshots as you go. So look and see, you need task 1, step 5, task 1, step 12, 18, 21. So I usually watch for the first one, so I know on step 5 I've got to take a screenshot. And just keep that in mind. And then we're going to come back up to the top here where the labs are and launch this one. And it'll run, click on that blue tab, and it's going to launch me into my practice lab setup. I'm going to open up my my instructions for the lab, and I put them on the left, and then I'll let this guy come over here on the right. And these are all the computers we have access to. So for your course project, if you need to, you can come back here and use these devices. Okay, so let me fix my windows here so that I can do my scrolling. All right, and right now, this is the device we're going to be using. Task 1 is switch startup and initial configuration. So you're going to make sure you're on NY Core 1, which is right here. It's currently off, so I'm going to power it on. Me and my computer are fighting right now. Okay. After it boots, press enter. When prompted to enter the configuration dialog, answer yes. So we're seeing a bunch of weird stuff on the screen. That's okay, just give it a few minutes. It's going to finish. Okay, so what seemed like forever, I'll finally get back here and type yes. I believe yes is our next answer as well. And then the name of the switch, NY Core 1. Enter enable secret, ours is Cisco. Enter the enable password, Cisco 1. I think that's so we can see the difference in which gets used where. and then the virtual terminal password, Cisco. And no here for the SNMP management. Okay, you can either hit enter or spacebar through there. Interface summary VLAN 1. Configure an IP interface, an IP on this interface. Yes. And 10.1.1.2. Hit enter. And the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Cluster command switch, no. And press the space bar to get to there. Two, and it builds the configuration. If you did anything wrong, it says you can enter 1 and start over. Entering 0 breaks out altogether. Entering 2 brings you to where I'm at. To make changes, we have to get into global configuration mode, so we'll do enable and then conft or configure terminal, but first we have to type in the password of Cisco1. It's Cisco, not Cisco1. And once I typed that in, it brought me to here with the hashtag instead of a greater than sign. And we'll go conft or configure terminal and get to the configuration mode. Alright, so now we're going to change it and enable secret. Okay, I can't spell today. Cisco1. So it was Cisco. And then we'll set the IP default gate dash gateway to 10.1.1.1. And this is telling us it doesn't like us doing that. I'm not sure why they had us do that. And I did forget that we were supposed to be taking shots here on step number 5. So once we did this, so if you have to, you can just scroll back up in the window and it should have all of that information still in there. Starting from Trying to see where we said yes, right here. This is where we initially said yes, so you can go back and do your snips or screenshots from here. Okay, well, where are we at? Not yet, not yet, not yet. Okay, I'm trying to figure out where I left off, sorry. Probably there, because we just set our IP default gateway. Okay, so now we're on to setting up the line console, line con 0. And we're setting the password to Cisco. And no, you would not set a system up this way. This is very insecure. And log in. You are not logging in. You're setting it up so they have to log in when they come into the console port on line 0. Okay, so now they want us to view the running configuration. So we'll type end. That takes us back to the beginning, and we can do hit enter and show run. Okay, verify spacebar, 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 spacebar. Okay, back to the prompt. Now we're going to exit. That brings me back to the prompt. Asking me for my password. I do believe it's Cisco. Yes, I know it says Cisco 1, but that would be next. So first we enter Cisco. Now I'm going to type enable. And Cisco 1. And that brings me back into global, or back to the executive mode, or privileged executive. Okay, so now I'll go back into the configuration mode and set the service password dash encryption. That way, if somebody gets in and can view the passwords, they will not be able to see what they are. Okay, so we'll end again and show run. Notice I just kept typing. It did exactly what I told it to, so you can hit enter there or just type show run. And what I wanted to show you here is now the passwords are encrypted, whereas if you go back up to the last output we did, nope, encrypted. So that's all this one. Yes, see there we can actually see the passwords. Where's that one? That one's encrypted, but we can see this one. So now our service password encryption is set, and you cannot see our passwords if you just listen. Okay, next is our message of the day. So we'll go back into configuration mode and set our banner. MOTD, message of the day, $, hit enter. And they're doing this in caps locks, unauthorized access prohibited and then hit enter. Then another $sign. It knows that's the end. Enter again, and I'll come back to configuration mode. So by putting in the first $sign, and I can actually do this all in one line, $sign, type in the message, and then another $sign, all on one line. Okay, and then exit. Exit. You notice by using exit, it goes back one round. Okay, so now they want us to go in and remove the service password encryption. So our first password is Cisco, and then enable Cisco 1 conft, no enable secret. And then I'll go into my line con 0 and tell it no password needed and no login required. Oops. I gotta do my no password again. Okay. All right. So now we'll do an end and go back and show run. And did I not turn mine off? Okay, let me try mine again. If yours work, great. If not, let me try one more time. No enable secret. No enable password. Oh, I got that one. All right, so let me try it again. End and show run. It should have turned off my password encryption, and now my passwords should show up, but apparently they're not. I'm not sure why. Oh, okay, so that's, then they want us to do the show start, which is the startup configuration. And you'll see here it did turn it off. I wasn't following the directions. All right. Our startup configuration is stored in NVRAM, which is non-volatile, which means when we turn the power off, turn it back on, it's still there. Whatever's in our running configuration is not going to be there. It is not stored in NVRAM, it's stored in RAM. All right, so back over here, they want us to go into configuration mode and enable secret Cisco 1. Copy, run, start. So that's copying what's in the source to destination, so what's in the running configuration into the startup configuration, and I was supposed to come back a level before I did that. Okay, when it asks you for the destination file name, just hit enter. Okay, so now we'll show start and pick your markers, whatever you were looking at before. And now our start should match what was in our run. Erase the startup configuration. So erase startup dash config. Pressed enter. Good, I ain't doing that. And that is the end of our lab. Now again, save this information that was over in here in the blue area for your course project.